What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Steven's Album Show. In today's video, we are checking out a solo project from Paramore's just amazing presence, which is Hayley Williams, and she put out Petals for Armor. Now, I'm looking at the track list right now. It looks like it's set into 3 different discs. We're just gonna check it out on Spotify, so we're gonna just listen to them all here. I'm pretty excited to get into this because, you know, I'm not too familiar with a lot of Paramore's more pop records that they put out, but I was a huge fan of the first album and Riot. I got to see them live a couple times during that period, and I absolutely loved seeing this band. I just think there was so much energy. It was a lot of fun, and Hayley Williams is just fucking cool. Like, that's just the easy way to put this. So a lot of people were asking me when this came out, because I checked out like 1 or 2 of the singles. They really wanted to see what I thought about the entire album, and I'm pretty excited. It's always interesting to see someone leave a group that they're very known for and go off and do their own solo project, because you start to see that the influence is coming from them rather than coming from an entire band, and I'm obviously going to be excited to check that out. Before we get into the video, I'm doing a lot better of adding much more audio to these album reactions so that you guys can actually vibe with me a little bit. That's usually the feedback I get, is that people wish that I added more audio, so I'll be doing that moving forward. However, it's still going to be chopped up because it's YouTube, so if you guys want to help and support the channel and get something out of it, I am actually adding uncut album reactions to my Patreon. So that means that you can go on there and just vibe with me for however long the album is, 1-2 hours, whatever it is. And none of it will be chopped up. I mean, parts of if I cough or sneeze, I'm probably gonna chop that out, but the rest of it's going to be completely uncut. So you'll be able to just sit back and vibe with me, while YouTube is going to get this version a little bit more chopped up. And like I said, in doing that, you do get the uncut video, so that's really fun for you guys. But the other thing too is you're directly supporting this channel, which allows me to continue to do these album reactions for you. So I just wanted to put that out there in case you guys are interested in supporting the channel and getting a little bit back in return. As always, leave a like. Let's try to get, I don't know, 1,000 likes on this video. That'd be pretty cool. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my socials, all that stuff out of the way. I got some headphones. We are going to have some good audio. And we're starting with Simmer. I don't remember what the song is that I heard. I think it might have been Simmer. So I'm not sure. So we're going in this pretty blind. So let's go. Ooh, good transition there.
Rage is a quiet thing. You think that you tamed it, but it's just lying in wait.
I'm loving the bass riff in this song already. I feel like it's mixed very well. It's very heavy, which I think adds to the dramatic effect of the song kind of happening. It's also really interesting to hear when Hayley Williams does this little bit different of a sound to her vocals. It's not the same thing that I'm used to, that very high higher range style that she typically does. I'm actually loving the vibe of this so far. Oh, I love the bass in this. There's obviously a couple things I'm going to be looking for lyrically in this. Obviously, her divorce from Chad from Newfound Glory and Shai Hulud and many other bands, International Superheroes or Hardcore. There's I always looked at that relationship as holy shit, that is perfect. These two people came from alternative music scenes, fell in love, and look at the success that they're both at. Obviously, Hayley Williams was always a little bit bigger, features like B.O.B. and things like that. But I'm looking for those lyrical themes because I've read a couple articles that have come out that turned out that he cheated on her, which I was super sad to hear, because that's one of those tragic stories you never want to be true. And So I'm trying to pay attention to those lyrical themes in this album as well, because I know that she's going to touch on them. So I don't know if this song necessarily has to do with it. However, there have been some moments in the song where I could definitely put those two and two together. But yeah, I love this.
Simmer, 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 simmer down. Control. There's so many ways to give in. Gotta simmer, 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 simmer down.
I gotta turn this up. The production's so good.
Wrap yourself in bed. Wrap yourself in pillows. Giving control. There's so many ways to give in. Eyes closed. Sweeter than my
Those vocals.
Gotta simmer, 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 simmer down. Control.
Nice little fade out at the end there. I really do love how chaotic the end of that song was. There's just so many things going on with the production, with the vocals, especially like listening to this on headphones, which I know a lot of you guys are going to appreciate because I have been using my cell phone lately, which I don't know why. I think I just wanted to shoot over there and I kind of had to. But I'm really loving that part. It feels very dark. It's so cool to hear Hayley's vocals be just different from Paramore, at least from the Paramore that I've heard. I will say that it's very experimental on her part in parts of this, and I enjoy that. Hard to follow along with the lyrics. I've definitely heard the song before, but one thing I like about it, and I probably said this originally, was that it's so easy to learn the lyrics of that chorus. Like right away, you're already being able to vibe with it, and I do appreciate that. All right, the next track is Leave It Alone.
Don't nobody tell me that God don't have a sense of humor. Now that I finally wanna live, the ones I love are dying late, and I keep trying to untie it.
Becoming friends with the noose that I've made, and I'm trying to untie it. That's kind of dark. One thing I've noticed 2 tracks in is that the bass is mixed very well. There's a lot of bass in these tracks. Now, I do see that on Spotify it is broken up into 3 separate discs, so I'm wondering if the vibe changes with each one. That'll be interesting to see, because it's always fun when that happens.
Turn it into a fire escape on my tongue.
That instrumental is so chaotic.
The truth's a killer, but I can't leave it alone.
I feel like there's been so many like little tempo changes and stuff going on in that chorus, which makes it super hard to follow when it comes to that instrumental. But for some reason, it's like beautiful chaos, and I'm into it.
It triggers my worry. Who else am I gonna lose before I am ready? Me. It tastes so bitter on my tongue.
Those little vocal runs she's doing right there, I think just add to, I can't tell what's going on lyrically right away, but there's like this almost like very like looming dark element that I can feel, and when she does those little vocal runs, it adds just a little bit more of that like haunting effect.
But I can't leave it alone. If you know that,
Ooh.
you best prepare to grieve.
These are the vocals that we've grown to love from Hayley Williams right there.
But I can't leave it alone. But I can't leave it alone.
The truth's the killer, but I can't leave it alone. So I try to pay attention in the lyrics. Couldn't quite get the meaning of it right away, and I don't want to just assume that everything on this album is about Chad, because that might be true, but I have a feeling that there's more to it than that. And so I don't want to just go right away to that, but this song does feel very haunting, like I said, especially with the tone that Hayley has chosen to use with a lot of these vocal runs in this. It just felt very dark, but I just love the chaotic instruments that we're getting in the chorus where the tempo is changing. I feel like I could never quite follow along with what the instrument was gonna do next, and it added like this little bit of like uncertainty. I don't know. It just added more to that track. All right, the next one is called Cinnamon. You see what I'm saying? So even right away on this, the instrumental is not something that is just easily digestible. There's like tempo changes and switches that's offbeat a little bit, and especially with those runs in the back, it just adds for this like sort of like uncomfortable feeling. Obviously one that I enjoy, but still it is an uncomfortable feeling.
On the walls of my home, there are signs that I'm alone.
Ooh, that double vocal happening.
I keep on. Eat my breakfast in the noon. Smells like citrus and cinnamon.
That bass again, so heavy.
I'm not lonely. I am free.
Woo!
But if I let you in, you would never wanna leave.
Okay, the vocal moment just now, so good. There's double vocals happening. It's kind of weird that even in an upbeat song like this, still feels uncomfortable. Lots of interesting things happening with the vocals, but these little bit of double vocals, I'm even gonna go back a little bit. These little bit of double vocals that are happening that are causing this like, I mean, I have like goosebumps. Like it's causing these little bit of like weird effects in my brain, and I love it.
Never I let you in. Cinnamon.
Hey!
I'm not lonely, baby. I am I'm not lonely, baby.
I love that riff right there. Oh yeah, there's so many amazing vocal moments in that song. I absolutely love the double vocal. I talk about this a lot on this channel, but anytime an artist does that first track where they record their vocals, then they do that second track and harmonize with themselves, especially someone like Hayley Williams who has so many different ranges in her vocals, you get those really haunting feelings. And there were moments in the song where that harmony would hit and I would get goosebumps immediately just because something about these first three tracks just feel creepy. Well, Creepin is the next track, but these feel like a little bit creepy. There's just something a little bit disturbing about the tracks. While they are beautiful, there seems to be something not so beautiful happening underlying. So the next track we're gonna listen to is Creepin.
Batty pair of eyes creeping, aiming like a laser pointer. Water.
So why you creeping round here?
Why you
Creeping.
What?
stranger
Hey.
not a threat to me? You know that I'm a moon and daylight.
Why you creeping round here?
Why you
Creeping. Why you creeping? Why you creeping round here?
innocent? Too much of anything, you never know how to quit.
Creeping.
I'm totally digging this like weird vibe, especially with the vocals coming in and the transition leading into the chorus, because there's like this also a dance vibe going on at the same time with this. And I'm kind of definitely interested in what some of these tracks are about, because she's really set the tone and the mood for these.
Why you creeping round here?
Simple and innocent, but too much of anything and never know how to quit. I'm of him. Creeping. Why you creeping?
So why you creeping round here?
So I tried to pay attention to the lyrics on this. I think it could go a couple ways. One, she kept saying it always starts as something so simple and innocent, but too much of anything can lead to something bad. And part of me kind of thinks that the song is her talking about like her memories of somebody. Like, you know, every once in a while I think about this person, but then it's like this, like I said, with the vibe of the song being so like dark and sort of creepy, almost like, why does that memory just keep creeping back? Now, I could be totally wrong with that. That's usually what happens, but that's just kind of what I get on the first listen of this track. I feel like that mixed with the vibe, it totally would make sense for that. I'm sure that there's something much deeper than that, but that's what I'm getting on the first listen. The next track is Sudden Desire.
To think about what happened last night outside his house, too far to go back now. Sudden desire.
Oh, fuck.
Sudden desire.
So I love the vocals in the first 40 seconds of this track. I think it's something that we haven't heard on this album yet from her. It feels she's doing a very good job with the storytelling of this, but that transition into that chorus after all of those moments, I'm gonna go back and get that again. That was sick. Woo!
Sudden desire. Sudden. Take the elephant by
Yes.
the hand and hold it. My kind companion. My gentle giant.
Those fucking harmonies again.
Sudden desire. Don't know if I can deny a sudden desire. Sudden desire.
Oh my god, that is what we want.
Big balloon trails me, 'cause I can't let go. Just like him, friendly reminder
Hey.
of a your fingerprints on my skin, a painful reminder.
Fuck. I just found my personal favorite track out of the first 5 that we've listened to. Leading up to this point, every song has been really great. There's been certain vibes to it. This song in particular really brought out more from Hayley, not just with the verse vocals, which I thought were really beautiful. I thought she did a really great job of the storytelling, but the chaos that ensues into the chorus leading up to those double vocal harmonies that I'm such a huge fan of, and then going as far as they hit those old school Hayley vocals that I've come to know and very much enjoy, which she does several times throughout this track. I feel like that alone is giving me the best vibes on this album, and I'd be interested to see if another song beats that. I mean, we have 10 songs to go, but that was good. Like, that was strong. Okay, we're on to what Spotify is saying disc 2. So we'll see what that really means. This first track, I think, is a single. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's called Dead Horse. Let's go.
All right, it took me 3 days to send you this, but sorry. I was in a depression.
Same.
I'm trying to come out of it.
Definitely a brighter feeling.
Every morning, is that a dream or a memory? Held my breath for a decade. Dyed my hair blue to match my lips. I beat it like a dead horse. I beat it like a drum. Overstayed with you too long. Skipping like a record.
Okay, so leading into this disc 2, right away the vibe feels very different, and that's just with this track, so that could mean absolutely nothing. But this is much more upbeat, even though I still feel like there is sadness looming in this track. I feel like she's doing a lot of self-reflecting in this track. The style of the track is much more upbeat. Definitely feels like a single as well, just like Simmer did. Simmer felt like a good single. This song also does. It has that catchy chorus. It has that moment with the instrumentation where it's upbeat and people can really start to vibe with it, even if they don't necessarily know what's going on in the song. And that always makes for a very strong single, and I feel that right away.
I got what I deserved. I was the other woman first.
I got what I deserved. I was the other woman first. I didn't know that about her. The other so I'm assuming this is about Chad, and I don't know if this is about her being the other woman, meaning he was cheating on her, or prior to her and him being in a actual relationship, she was already the other woman. I'm not really sure, but it's really cool that she's addressing that on this album. I sang along to your shitty little song. I fucking love that.
You cry.
Damn.
When I said goodbye, I hope you cried. When I said goodbye, I hope you cried. Sing along to a silly little song. I said I beat it like a dead horse. I beat it like a drum. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now you're getting outside.
Those drums are so good. I don't know if she said to your silly little song or your shitty little song, but either way, it's the same. Very interesting to hear her touch on these topics in this track and on this album. This, so far, not only feels like a solo project, but it is a very personal project. A lot of emotion, a lot of honesty, a lot of truth in this album. And while I haven't been able to follow the lyrics on every single song, especially since I don't know a ton about her personal life, so it's a little bit harder for me to connect some of the dots, it is just always admirable to find an artist who is so raw and honest when it comes to their writing, going as far as so much transparency as to putting their life out here on an album. That's hard for people to do, and sometimes it's used as really great therapy, and she's definitely doing that here. I really enjoyed the fact that they've chosen this song to be a single, because it does feel like the most upbeat to get someone to listen to this album. It definitely feels like something that I could picture myself, you know, singing along with in a car, which is usually how I judge what a good single is. Though I love to sing an entire album, I do feel like it's important to have those tracks that you can keep going back to, and that's exactly what I feel with this song. So the next song we're gonna listen to is called My Friend.
Right now, little vicious tiger stripes. If you get closer to my thighs when you're walking with the limp, why she is here. My friend, when the blood is dried, my friend, you know why. If it's wrong or if it's right, I'm beside you, famine or fire.
So I was reading this at first, or listening to this at first, thinking that there was like almost a sarcastic way, like my friend, like addressing this person. I'm listening to the track, the more I actually feel like she's sincerely singing to this person, telling, you know, them everything that they can tell them and share their secrets with them, and, you know, ride till the end with them and things like that. So I don't know if that will continue to progress as the song goes on, but from what I thought was going to be more like a backstabbing friend kind of thing, I actually kind of feel like she's sincerely singing to her friend, but we'll see if that changes.
Every side, still down for the ride. Ooh, my friend, who could take mine? None could take your place.
That bridge was so interesting. There were like so many different moments happening in the instrumentals and both with Hayley's vocals. I kind of thought that this was going to turn out to be a bad song in that bridge, but it didn't. Like, and when I say turn out to be a bad song, I mean maybe not such an endearing song towards a friend, but maybe something a little bit more sinister than that. However, after that bridge, it goes back into that like really bright chorus, and I feel like this is actually a good, sincere song to a friend. Ooh, those last like fade out vocals right there. We stay safe together, we escape death forever. I love this track. This seems to be an ongoing theme on this album, but I enjoy the dark feeling that is going over all of these tracks. Like, even though this was a fun song, even though it was more of a endearing song to a friend, you know, hey, you've seen me in all different angles and you're still here, you're still riding with me till the end, you know, we'll stay safe together, we'll escape death forever. It still felt like there was a darkness looming, and the whole entire time I was listening to the song imagining that at some point it's going to shift and it's gonna turn out to not be such an upbeat and happy song, and yet that never happened, and I'm appreciative of that. I feel like we've had enough sadness on this album. It's okay to have a song that's going to be a little bit more happy. God, I just want Hayley to be happy at some point in this album. And yeah, so I'm actually glad it was that track. The next track we're gonna listen to is a song called Over Yet.
If there's resistance,
Oh.
if there's resistance, it makes you stronger. It's not the end.
It's like a punk pop kind of sound. Hey.
You can go farther beyond the end. If in the distance there's more resistance, it's the right time to come alive, baby. If you wanna try to get out of your head, yes.
Okay, we got Hayley Williams taking some 80s and 90s inspiration here, and you can feel it right away in the instrumental, and it feels like it's going to be on my workout playlist. It's upbeat enough. Well, it's actually super upbeat. She says, as long as there's resistance, you get stronger. Like, I feel like this is exactly what I need to motivate myself to get in my garage gym because of quarantine and actually lift some weights and do some cardio. Thanks, Hayley.
It ain't over yet. It's the right time to get stuff. It ain't over yet. If there's resistance, make it your friend. It's the right time
Ooh.
to come alive, baby. If you wanna try.
To say that props to Hayley for not only, I've never heard her do anything along these lines of this era of music, but she's just executing this so well, and I think it's important to at least point that out.
Every dark part of me. It ain't over yet.
It's just so 90s. That song ended so abruptly. All I gotta say is that I imagine that this song is going to end up on a soundtrack. I can't tell you when. I feel it. Like, that is a great montage section song, or like, you know, they're working really hard to get to something and this is going to be playing in the back, or it's a great fade out credit. I just feel like she's definitely going to have this track on a soundtrack at some point in the very near future. The next song we're going to listen to is Roses, Lotus, Violet, Iris. What the fuck is a violet? Okay, let's do it. Oh, I'm so glad I have headphones on. This is so good.
I've seen your body, and I have seen your beauty.
Hayley with these double vocals, the main vocal, her harmonizing herself at a higher range. Such a beautiful moment on this album, and I just, it's happening on this track, and I love it.
Tending to my own.
So
What
good.
do I care? Show no concern for colors of a bag.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. This could have easily been a Lana song as well. It's so cool to hear artists that can put out similar styles of music, especially with Hayley, who's done so many different things on this album. To hear a song that sounds like a Lana Del Rey song is fucking awesome on an already cool album, so I love to hear this.
Lotus, 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 lotus. Craning next to reach a window. Ripping all the petals off just 'cause he loves me now, he loves me now. I myself was a wilted woman, drowsy in a dark room. Forgot my roots, now watch me bloom. Roses, 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 and I will not become a thorn in my own side.
I love it.
I'm soft and wild.
Fuck. Oh, that bass riff is so good. It's had a very similar experience to what I get when I listen to Lana Del Rey, which is, I guess it really depends on what album you're listening to, but especially with Norman Rockwell, because I feel like that's one where I tend to be able to vibe out the most with, is that Hayley's vocals on this track are so atmospheric, they're so airy. She's using moments where she's double recording her vocals, which, you know, I love that. And it sort of puts you in a trance, and like you can't really think, like I couldn't really think about the lyrics. I couldn't really think too much about the instrumental, although the bass was very prominent in this song. And you're just kind of in a moment where you're just really absorbing Hayley's vocals, and it was so beautiful here. There were some moments towards the end where she, you know, brought out that higher, more aggressive sound that we know her to be so good at doing. And yeah, it's actually really cool to experience that. Considering I kind of only thought I was ever going to really get that from Lana Del Rey. It's kind of cool that Hayley can have a song like this on this album and give me, you know, similar feelings to that. So that was really great. Okay, the next track we're going to listen to is the final track on disc 2 of 3. The song is called Why We Ever.
Open your mouth, say something warm. I've spent a while on the stranger side of your door. How do you sound? I can't seem to remember why we ever felt we had to say goodbye.
Ooh, good transition.
From your home to my home, I can't feel your energy no more. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no.
So, just trying to base it off of what I've heard in the lyrics so far, it sounds like she's at her home alone, thinking to herself, like, when you go through these breakups, no matter how bad they are sometimes, you get to these moments where you just miss this person and you kind of just forget all the shitty stuff that happened. You're just kind of like, what even happened that caused us to not be together anymore? And I kind of feel like she's reflecting on that moment right here. And again, I could be totally wrong, but it just kind of feels like this is that reflection moment where she's sitting there going, why? Why did we ever end this? Why is this over? Why am I at home, not with your energy, not feeling you around me? Yeah, and I think anyone who's been through that can definitely empathize and sympathize with what she's doing here. Oh, total vibe change there. It's like a really interesting sound going on in the background. I'm sure you guys can hear it because I'm including the good audio. But kind of sounds like she's either like walking around her house or she's walking upstairs. It just kind of sounds like she's pacing around her home, which only goes to give me more of those feelings I was getting in those first sets of lyrics. Now the vibe and the instrumental has changed almost completely going into the second half of the song. So I'm interested to see where this goes.
I spent the weekend at home again, drawing circles on the floor. I just wanna talk about it.
Ooh.
I know I freaked you out.
I hurt for Hayley right now. I can feel it.
Sorry for freaking out. I just wanna talk.
So I kind of feel like my initial thoughts of this song with that first set of lyrics still remain true. It actually got like more devastating as the song went on because it's kind of that moment where like all this stuff happened and then there's like part of a moment there where she's like almost blaming herself for everything that happened when she says things like, I just want to talk about it. I'm sorry for freaking out. Sorry if I freaked you out. And I feel like, yeah, I got like goosebumps, dude. It's such a personal song. And I feel like when someone lets you into their life in an intimate way like that, and they really start to give you that truth about what they're going through, I feel like it's really hard to not kind of get in your feelings about it. Like that's really sad, and you could feel the pain and the heartbreak in her vocals and her voice. Even as it just fades out and she kind of keeps just like repeating the same lines, I feel like it got sadder and sadder as it went on. And I think anytime an artist can capture an emotion like that and put that pain onto a track for people to again vibe with and, you know, be able to understand and relate to, I feel like it just hits so much deeper. So damn, that is super sad. So that is the end of disc 2. So now we're going on to disc 3. The first song we're going to listen to on disc 3, which is the final disc, is Pure Love. Ooh, that bass is just so prominent in this album.
I'm still trying to get used to how the former feels. If I want pure love, must stop acting so tough. I give a little, you give a little. Got to open up. I give a little, you give a little.
One interesting thing about the 3-disc thing, I don't know why, it must have came out in 3 CDs. That's the only reason that I can think Spotify is doing that on here. Track 1s of all 3 of them so far, 2 of them have already been singles. I see Pure Love, if it's not already a single, being a single because it's got that same single feeling that the other track 1s had. Okay, shut up.
Who you are and who I am. Friction of my skin. If I want pure love, must stop acting so tough. Got to open up. I give a little, you give a little.
Her vocals in this are very different from what I've heard from a lot of Hayley Williams vocals. I didn't realize that she could hit some of these notes, and hearing her in this chorus, you know, using those different tones that she's using, I think just it's such a good match for her, but it really shows how much range she has as a vocalist. I mean, we've seen her do a lot of stuff, and I don't even know half of it since I only know the first 2 albums of Paramore, but her vocals have always been something that I've been drawn to. So to hear them on this chorus done so strong, but so different, it's just something that it's a nice welcome.
Yes, I guess it's for the best. I guess you really gotta call your own bluff if you want pure love. If I want pure love, must stop acting so tough. Ooh, got to open up. I give a little, you give a little.
God damn. I definitely feel like a lot of that track was a vocal flex from Hayley because there are some notes she hit there at the end. She held on to those notes so long. I love the absolute just like dance uplifting vibe that song has, especially after being so sad after Why We Ever. It's kind of nice to get into a song that has a little bit more of an upbeat vibe so that I don't have to just think that Hayley is completely heartbroken, because that is the worst. The next song we're going to listen to is a song called Taken.
My feet won't touch the ground beneath me. Big ass sneakers,
Big ass sneakers.
but we don't gotta go nowhere at all. If anybody asks you, I'm taking
So I'm guessing in this track, Hayley's got somebody now. Hayley's got a person. You know, if anyone asks if I'm taken, I am, and he is too. And I kind of hope that's the case. I'd like for some happiness to be happening for Hayley in this.
It's easy to see how people stop believing. 'Cause everyone I know's got a broken heart. He makes me wanna give it another shot.
Okay, so that does make me happy because, like she says, it's easy to believe that people stop believing. She's obviously talking about believing in love, and talking about how she met this person that makes her want to give another shot at it. And I imagine if you're in a relationship as long as Hayley was, you're married, you kind of think you found your forever person, and then it ends up the way that it did. I feel like it would be very hard to want to jump back in and think that you could ever recreate that and it lasts any longer. But I like the fact that it's a positive approach she's taking on re-entering that love life, because it's not always easy.
Would I do it all again? But I was always on my way to him. Yeah, I'm taking. If anybody wants to know, he's
Some fun little riffs in the back. Okay, I'm very happy that we just got that song, especially with the amount of sadness this album has had. Split up into 3 discs, and I think that we're kind of seeing the reason why. I think that we're getting into this final one, which was like, you know, you have to be at all these lows to get to this high, and Taken was a really great song for that, you know? Despite everything else going on, she found somebody who made her believe in love again, and, you know, she take this second chance immediately to be able to, you know, find that love again with this person, and I'm happy for her. I feel like we're on a ride with her, and that's fun. It's fun to be on this ride because, you know, especially after going through all the heartbreak she went through that we're having to experience with her, I want her to be happy. Okay, Sugar on the Rim.
Sugar on the rim. Sugar on the rim.
So I didn't love the first like 20 something seconds of that. It was like a really kind of like interesting intro. But once her vocals came in and she started actually singing, I'm kind of digging the vibe a little bit more.
Could you be the silver lining like sugar on the rim? You took me by, you took me by, you took me by surprise. You took me by, you took me by, you took me by surprise. Never felt this sensation in and out of the glow. I'm not afraid of the dark side. Just tell me things I don't know. Maybe we just
I
have.
kind of feel like this song's going to take a couple listens for it to grow on me. I don't really love the instrumental, and sometimes it's hard to get past that. But I'm trying here, but I feel like on first listen, this probably isn't going to be one of my favorites.
Surprise. Never felt this sensation. Kiss to every sky. Eclipse my expectation. Shock to my heart.
Sugar on the rim. Sugar on the rim.
I do like that bass right
Sugar
there.
on the rim.
It's just so deep.
This sensation, a kiss to.
Okay, that's enough of that song for me. I do enjoy the vocals happening. Unfortunately, just getting through the instrumental is a little bit difficult just because it's not really my taste. And I feel like it's kind of jarring. So when I'm trying to listen to the rest of the song, I feel like it's just kind of going on a lot. I did enjoy the bass in the song though. I feel like this is one of those songs that might just take a couple times. I feel like it's one of those songs that might just take a couple times to grow on and might never. Sometimes you can't get past things like an instrumental like that. So the next song we're gonna listen to is Watch Me While I Bloom. Yes.
To be in my body again. How lovely I feel. Oh,
Fuck.
a positive charge.
I feel like this is the most Paramore-esque Hayley that we've heard on the album. A lot of aggressiveness in these vocals, definitely hitting those higher ranges, and this is the most familiar I've heard her voice throughout this entire album. And by the way, it's incredible right now.
Inside of me, and I'm on the move. So come and look inside of me. Watch me while I bloom. I wanna look inside of me.
Hey!
And just watch me bloom. If you feel like you're never gonna reach the sky, baby, you got a lot of shit to learn. You wanna look inside of me and just watch me bloom. And just watch me bloom. You only got one side of me, but here's something new. I'm alive in spite of me, and I'm on the move.
I like that. I'm alive in spite of me. I like that. I mean, that's one of those lyrics where it's like, it's deep, it's hard hitting, and it's relatable.
Behind. Ooh, got a lot to learn. Got a lot out of me. Here's something new. I'm alive in spite of me, and I'm on the move. Ooh,
Oh, that bass line was so funky.
and just watch me bloom. You only got one side of me. Here's something new. I'm alive in spite of me, and I'm on the move. I bloom, yeah.
Her vocals right here have almost like an R&B feel to them, which is definitely different.
Watch me while I bloom, yeah.
Yeah, I love how funky this track was. I love the fact that we were getting a lot of what I remember Hayley to really sound like in her Paramore days, especially a lot in the beginning. Watch Me While I Bloom. I'm trying to pay attention to the lyrics here. I can't quite tell if it's like, you know, her like blooming and this is who she is now, because she kept saying like, you only know one side of me, watch me while I bloom. So I don't know if she's trying to show like this is who I've been forever and now I'm blossoming into this different person or to my true form. I don't really know. That's kind of definitely the vibe that I got on this, and if that's so, I like that. I like that idea, especially her launching into the solo career is really a big deal, and I feel like it's one of those moments where, you know, she is taking this moment to take lead and be like, hey, you guys have known me my entire life essentially, but it's always been as this one person. So let me show you sort of not really the new me, but sort of like who I really am, like where I've gone in my life. So I like that. The next track and the final track, which I'm actually bummed about. I feel like we've had such a great, just like sad moments here. We've had some, you know, dance party, and now we're at the end here. And while we've had some good happiness, we're at the closing track, which is a bit sad. The last song is called Crystal Clear.
I don't wanna shut you out. I don't wanna rush around or slow down. Give into the fear. Slow, clear. I'm giving to the fear. I remember standing on the edge, closing my eyes, counting to 3. Jumping back no matter how deep I go into you. It looks like the water is crystal clear.
So there's this really amazing moment happening on this track where, first off, Hayley just sounds incredible here. It's very beautiful. And in the production, there are moments where her vocals are layering over, and they're sort of like off-timed a little bit, so it's like there's 3 different singers, but it's all Hayley, and it's such a beautiful moment when it all comes together, especially in good headphones. I feel like I'm just surrounded by like 12 Hayley Williams singing this song to me. It's a very crystal clear, no pun intended, vocal performance, and I enjoy it.
Here we go, gonna risk it again. Let's hope it's the last time.
Like low-key, this whole section is so heavy. I'm just gonna go back a little bit. It's kind of like a breakdown, sort of. Dude, this is such a vibe. I talk about closing tracks a lot. Tracks that, in my personal opinion, really help to make you feel like that album is over. And as much as I didn't want this album to end, I felt like going through all of these emotions with Hayley, it would have been, you know, it's kind of sad for this not to be 5 discs. I will say that this song actually gave me some sort of closure, and I don't really know why, because I don't understand what the fear she was afraid of that she didn't want to give into. I don't know if it was that fear of falling in love again, fear of committing to someone again, or if it had nothing to do with those things and it was just fear of something else. But for some reason, by the end of this track, I actually felt that closure. And I gotta say that while I don't know every Paramore album, and while I, you know, have been sort of like I love the first 2 albums of Paramore and I didn't listen to anything else kind of person, God, dude, like, for a solo career to break out like this, and this being the debut, I had so much fun going through this journey with her, because there's a lot of heartbreak, there's a lot of sadness, and I think it takes a lot for an artist to really come out and be that open, honest, and transparent with a fan base, and with that fact that you're putting your entire life out there for everyone to hear, everyone to listen to. That includes maybe ex-relationships, families, things like that. And I think that it takes a lot of bravery to do that, and she really nailed a lot of it on this album. I feel like I've had like this overlay of goosebumps for a lot of these tracks, and I think it's just being able to connect with someone on that emotional base where you're really getting to see what they're going through. I feel like we got a lot of that in this album, so I just want to applaud her for putting out such an honest album that connected right away, even for someone who doesn't know a ton of her backstory in her life. The next thing I want to talk about is the overall sound of this album. The way that they split it into these 3 discs, which are essentially like 3 emotion type things, I love the sounds of this, where disc 1 had a very like unsettling vibe to it, like things were not okay, and you could feel it there. In track 2, in disc 2, I felt like there was a lot of self-reflection happening, and I feel like you could hear that in the instrumental as well. It was a little confusing, and it was that moment where I think she was addressing a lot of what was going on in her life, despite it being sad. And 3, giving us a much happier vibe, much more upbeat, and we were getting a chance to, you know, hear her take on that connection with love again, and being able to open her heart and really wanting to embrace being with someone again, and really wanting to believe in love again. My favorite tracks on this album, I won't just like name them all because there's a lot, but I will say that Sudden Desire, I really enjoyed that song a lot. I feel like there was a lot of really beautiful moments on it. Roses, Lotus, Violet, Iris gave me very deep Lana Del Rey vibes, and I am a huge Lana Del Rey fan, so I really appreciated and enjoyed that. Why We Ever, I loved it, though I shouldn't because it was really sad, but I think part of me just really enjoyed the fact that we were getting such a brutally honest look at, despite things falling apart, you really, what do I want to say? You're really like self-reflecting, and you're really reflecting on that relationship and almost blaming yourself for things that have happened, or despite being sad, you don't even remember why it's over. You're just kind of like, damn, why is this person not here anymore? And I think she really nailed that feeling. And I also really enjoyed Crystal Clear. and Watch Me While I Bloom. The truth is, I enjoyed pretty much all of this album. One song I didn't like, and it might take a couple listens, and the truth is, it could be that I'm just never really a fan of it, was Sugar on the Rim. It wasn't for me. I didn't really like the instrumental, and sometimes it's hard to get past that. Even if lyrically the song might have been really good, I couldn't even pay attention to that just because I wasn't a huge fan of this song. But I gotta give it to her. I actually really enjoyed this album. I've been looking forward to checking it out. I have been hyping it up. I've been purposely trying to avoid the singles because I wanted to listen to this album as a whole, and I'm really glad I did. This definitely struck a chord. I definitely was in my feelings, and hearing her just be honest throughout this album was really, really awesome. So I really hope you guys liked today's video. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see this. If you did, let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes. I feel like that's not that hard, so make sure to smash the like button. You can also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more album stuff. If you want to share this on a Paramore or Hayley Williams subreddit, that would really help out a lot. And just to let you guys know, Patreon will be getting the uncut version of this. So while this one only included like 30 to 60 seconds of audio for each song, Patreon is not losing any of the audio for any of the songs. So you're gonna just vibe out with me for the entire like hour and a half or however long this video was. So if you're interested in doing that and directly supporting this channel so that I can continue to make these videos for you, make sure to go sign up over there. And yeah, just enjoy the vibes with me. But thank you guys for hanging out with me, and thank you Hayley Williams for putting out Petals for Armor, because what a great album, and I'm so stoked to see what you do with this new solo career of yours. I think it's gonna be really awesome. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias, and peace.